Beloved soul, I come to you today with a message that has been written in the stars long before you found this video. Divine timing has brought you here to this moment of revelation and guidance. The universe conspires in wonderful ways to deliver messages exactly when your spirit is ready to receive them. Take a deep breath and know that these words are meant for you. Type "open" in the comments right now if your heart is ready to receive this divine guidance. There is a season for everything under heaven. A time to speak and a time to remain silent. A time to announce your plans to the world, and a time to hold your precious dreams close to your heart, nurturing them in sacred silence. Today's message is about the sacred power of keeping certain divine appointments, specifically your upcoming move in marriage, wrapped in the protective embrace of holy silence. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That gentle nudge, that quiet whisper, urging you toward a new chapter. Perhaps you've already begun seeing the signs, unexpected opportunities arising, doors opening that were once firmly shut, connections forming that feel divinely orchestrated. The universe rarely shouts its intentions. It whispers, it suggests, it places gentle breadcrumbs along your path. And now, as you contemplate both a physical move to a new place and the sacred union of marriage, heaven's message is clear. This time, keep these precious plans close to your heart. Type silence in the comments if you recognize the wisdom in this divine instruction. Let this be your acknowledgement that you understand the power of sacred silence. In your previous seasons of transition, perhaps you shared too freely. Remember how your excitement bubbled over, how you told everyone about your plans, your hopes, your dreams. There's nothing wrong with joyful anticipation. But looking back, can you see how those premature announcements invited energies that weren't aligned with your highest good? Some responded with doubt or concern. Others projected their own fears onto your beautiful vision. Still others felt threatened by your upcoming happiness and consciously or unconsciously planted seeds of doubt in your fertile mind. The human experience is complex. Not everyone who smiles at your good news truly celebrates it in their heart. Some carry wounds that make them unable to genuinely rejoice in another's blessing. This isn't about judging them. Their journey is their own. This is about protecting the precious seed of your next chapter until it has grown strong enough to withstand the varied winds of opinion and judgment. Consider the miracle of pregnancy. In those first delicate weeks, many choose to keep their joyous news private, not because they aren't thrilled, but because they understand the sacred vulnerability of new life. They give that precious beginning the protection of privacy, allowing it to establish firm roots before announcing it to the world. Your upcoming move and marriage deserve that same sacred protection. Type "protect" if you're receiving this wisdom and are committed to guarding your precious new beginnings. There is profound spiritual wisdom in the practice of divine silence. Every spiritual tradition honors this truth in some form. In Christianity, we see how Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. In Eastern traditions, we learn that the highest truths cannot be spoken, even in the natural world. The most powerful transformations happen in darkness and silence, the seed sprouting underground, the butterfly forming in the chrysalis, the child developing in the womb. Your upcoming transition, both physical and relational, is undergoing a sacred gestation. It is forming in the spiritual realm before manifesting fully in the physical. Premature exposure can disrupt this delicate process. Energy follows attention. When you speak of your plans, you invite the energy of others to intermingle with the pure intention you and the divine have established. Some will question your timing. Are you sure you're ready? Others will project their own experiences. My cousin moved to that area and hated it. Still others will offer unsolicited advice about your relationship. Marriage changes everything, you know. None of these responses are necessarily coming from a place of malice, but they can introduce doubt, fear, and confusion into what should be a clear channel between you and divine guidance. There's a reason why many spiritual practices emphasize the importance of silence during periods of transformation. Moses went alone to the mountain. Jesus withdrew to pray in solitude. Buddha sat in silent meditation under the Bodhi tree. Muhammad received revelations in the quiet of a cave. Transformation requires a sacred container, and silence helps create that container. Type transform. If you're beginning to understand the spiritual principle at work in this divine instruction to remain quiet about your plans, now let me be clear. This guidance to keep quiet doesn't mean you should move through these significant life changes without any support. Select a small circle of trusted confidence, those whose hearts genuinely celebrate your joy, whose wisdom comes without agenda, whose love for you is unconditional. Share with them, pray with them, allow them to hold space for your transformation. But be exceedingly selective about who receives this sacred information. Your previous experiences have taught you who truly stands in your corner. Trust that wisdom. Trust your discernment about who deserves access to your vulnerable hopes and dreams. Not everyone who expresses interest has earned the right to your sacred trust. This isn't about secrecy driven by fear. It's about sacred containment motivated by wisdom. Consider the difference between broadcasting and communion. Broadcasting scatters energy widely, diluting its power. Communion concentrates energy in sacred connection, multiplying its strength. Your upcoming move and marriage deserve the focused power of communion, not the scattered energy of broadcasting. There's a beautiful principle in quantum physics that parallels this spiritual wisdom. When scientists observe certain quantum phenomena, the mere act of observation changes the behavior of what's being observed. Your dreams and plans exist in a similar quantum state of potentiality. Too many observers, especially those whose energy isn't aligned with your highest good, can alter the perfect unfolding of what's meant to be. Type quantum. If you're feeling the resonance of this truth in your spirit, you might be wondering, but isn't it natural to want to share good news? Isn't it normal to seek validation and excitement from others? Of course it is. Your desire to share springs from the beautiful human need for connection and celebration. There's nothing wrong with that impulse. But timing is everything. There will come a moment when sharing will be appropriate, when your plans have solidified, when the foundation is secure, when the seeds have grown strong enough to withstand any weather. Until then, imagine yourself as the guardian of a sacred flame. This flame, your dreams of a new home and a blessed union, needs protection from sudden gusts of opinion and judgment. Cup your hands around it. Shield it from those winds until it burns strong enough to withstand them. This isn't deception. It's divine protection. The spiritual realm operates on principles that often seem counterintuitive to our human understanding. In a world that celebrates immediate sharing, that values constant validation from others, that pushes us to externalize, every experience choosing sacred silence feels radical. It is radical. It's a return to ancient wisdom in a modern age of oversharing. Your angels and guides applaud your willingness to embrace this countercultural path. They see how previous experiences taught you the high cost of premature sharing. They witness your growth, your deepening wisdom, your readiness to protect what's precious. This is spiritual maturity in action. Recognizing that not every blessing needs an audience to be real. Type mature. If you're embracing this spiritual wisdom with an open heart, let's talk about the specific energies surrounding your upcoming move. Relocation represents so much more than a physical change of address. It's a realignment of your entire energy field with a new geographic frequency. Each place on our beautiful planet carries its own unique vibration, its own spiritual signature. When you relocate, you're not just changing homes. You're entering into relationship with an entirely new energetic environment. This relationship needs time to form naturally, without the interference of others' projections and opinions. Perhaps you've already selected your new location, or perhaps you're still in the process of discernment. Either way, this geographic shift carries profound spiritual significance for your life path. It's connected to your soul's journey in ways that others simply cannot fully understand. When people hear about a move, they immediately overlay their own experiences, preferences, and biases. Oh, I could never live there. That area is so expensive. Isn't it dangerous in that part of town? What about the schools, jobs, weather? Their well-meaning questions can create doubt where there was certainty, fear where there was faith, hesitation where there was divine flow. Your angels want you to know that this particular move is divinely orchestrated. The location you're being drawn to contains specific energetic frequencies that will support your spiritual evolution and life purpose. There are soul connections waiting for you there, opportunities aligned with your highest good and experiences that will catalyze your growth. But these delicate threads of destiny can become tangled when too many external opinions are introduced too early. Type location. If you're feeling the truth of this guidance about your upcoming move. Now, regarding your marriage, this sacred union deserves the same protective silence. Marriage represents one of the most profound energetic mergers possible in human experience. Two souls agreeing to walk a shared path, to blend their life forces, to create a new entity, the relationship itself. This mystical union begins long before any ceremony takes place. It begins in the realm of intention and commitment. In previous times or relationships, perhaps you shared your romantic hopes too freely. Maybe you posted every milestone on social media, told friends about every significant conversation, sought validation at each step of the relationship's development. Again, the desire to share joy is beautiful and natural. But looking back, can you see how those external voices sometimes created confusion, doubt, or unnecessary pressure? Relationships, especially in their formative stages, are like delicate ecosystems. They develop their own unique patterns, languages, rhythms. Outside perspectives, even loving ones, can disrupt that natural development. Your angels are guiding you to protect this sacred union by holding it close, allowing it to strengthen in the nurturing soil of privacy before exposing it to the varied elements of public knowledge. This doesn't mean hiding your relationship out of shame or fear. It means honoring its sacred nature by being selective about who gets to witness its unfolding. It means trusting the divine timing of when to share your commitment with the wider world. It means recognizing that the most precious gifts often develop in darkness before they're ready for the light. Type union if you're receiving this guidance about protecting your sacred relationship. There's another powerful reason for keeping quiet about these transitions: the spiritual principle of completed manifestation. Throughout various wisdom traditions, we find the teaching that speaking about something still in formation can dissipate the energy needed to bring it fully into being. It's as if our words open a valve, releasing the pressure that would otherwise build to the point of breakthrough. When you feel the urge to tell everyone about your plans, ask yourself, is this sharing coming from a place of seeking validation? Am I looking for others to confirm what my heart already knows? Do I need external excitement to sustain my own? These questions aren't meant to judge, but to bring awareness to the underlying dynamics of our desire to share. True confidence in divine guidance doesn't require external validation. When you're walking in alignment with your soul's purpose, there's a quiet certainty that transcends the need for others' approval or excitement. Your angels are inviting you into this deeper trust. Trust in the divine plan, trust in your own discernment, trust in the perfect unfolding of your path. Consider how Jesus often told those he healed, "Tell no one about this." He understood the spiritual principle that premature sharing can sometimes interfere with the complete work of transformation. There is power in holy silence, in sacred containment, in divine discretion. Your upcoming transitions deserve this protective spiritual practice. Type discretion. If you're embracing this wisdom about the power of keeping sacred silence, let's address a concern that might be arising in your heart. Does keeping quiet mean I'm being inauthentic or dishonest? No, beloved soul. There's a profound difference between deception and discernment, between lying and lovingly protecting what's precious. You're not being asked to deny reality or to fabricate falsehoods. You're being invited to exercise wisdom about what you share, when you share it, and with whom doth think of it like this. A farmer doesn't need to announce to the whole village that they've planted seeds. They simply do the work, tend the soil, and wait for the harvest to become visible to all. Your move and marriage are seeds you're planting. Give them time to take root before announcing the harvest you expect. This practice of sacred silence will require intention and awareness. In a world designed to extract our every thought and feeling, choosing what to keep private is a radical act of spiritual sovereignty. You may need to gently deflect questions to change the subject when conversations drift toward your future plans, to resist the cultural pressure to share every detail of your life journey. The angels surround you with support as you practice this discipline. They applaud your growing discernment, your willingness to protect what's precious, your courage in swimming against the cultural current of constant sharing. This is part of your spiritual maturation, recognizing that not everything needs to be externalized to be valid and real. Type sovereignty. If you're claiming this spiritual strength to protect your sacred journey, Now, let's explore some practical wisdom for how to navigate this season of sacred silence. First, consider creating a private journal dedicated specifically to your upcoming transitions. Pour your excitement, your questions, your dreams, your concerns onto these pages. This gives your natural desire to express an appropriate outlet without diluting the power of your manifestation through premature sharing. Second, identify your sacred circle, those few individuals whose energy is so aligned with your highest good that sharing with them actually strengthens rather than weakens your vision. These are people who know how to hold space without imposing their own agenda, who can listen without needing to fix or direct, who celebrate your joy without jealousy or judgment. Quality matters infinitely more than quantity here. Third, develop gentle responses for when people inevitably ask about your future plans. I'm exploring some exciting possibilities, or I'm in a season of trusting divine timing, or when things are more settled, I'll be happy to share. These truthful but bounded responses honor both your need for privacy and others' natural curiosity. Fourth, be especially mindful of social media during this season. Our digital culture encourages constant sharing, treating privacy as suspicious and restraint as abnormal. Resist this pressure. Not everything sacred belongs on a timeline. Some of life's most precious moments deserve to be lived fully present, not experienced through the filter of how they'll be perceived online. Fifth, use this practice of silence as a spiritual discipline in itself. Notice the impulses that arise, the desire for validation, the fear of missing out on congratulations, the habit of processing experiences externally. Each time you choose sacred containment over premature sharing, you're strengthening your spiritual muscles of discernment and divine trust. Type practice. If you're committed to implementing these practical steps in your journey, there's profound spiritual growth available to you in this season of sacred silence. By containing the energy of your upcoming transitions, you'll develop greater intimacy with your own inner guidance. Without the chorus of external voices, you'll more clearly hear the still, small voice of divine wisdom within you. This is a gift beyond measure, developing unshakable trust in your direct connection to Source. Many of history's most transformative figures understood this principle. They withdrew from public view during crucial periods of formation and transformation. They emerged only when the inner work was complete, when the vision was solidified, when the foundation was secure. Your angels are inviting you into this same sacred tradition. Imagine your upcoming move and marriage as a beautiful garden you're creating. Right now, you're in the design phase, preparing the soil, selecting the seeds. Would you invite critics to evaluate your garden before anything has even sprouted? Would you ask for opinions on your design before you've clarified your own vision? Of course not. You'd wait until at least some elements had taken form, until your own vision had materialized enough to withstand external perspectives. Your life transitions deserve this same respect. Allow yourself the sacred space to design and plant without premature evaluation from others. Trust that when the time is right, when your plans have solidified, when your foundation is secure, when divine timing indicates readiness, you'll know it's appropriate to share more widely. This guidance about keeping quiet comes not from a place of fear, but from profound love. Your angels see the magnificent unfolding that awaits you. They Know how special this particular move and marriage are in your soul's journey. They understand sensitive energetics involved in manifesting these divine appointments. Their guidance to maintain silence comes from their desire to see these blessings fully materialize in your life. Type unfold if you're trusting this. Divine timing and protection. Let's speak now about the relationship between silence and divine manifestation. Throughout spiritual traditions, we find the teaching that creation begins in silence. In the beginning, Genesis tells us, before the spoken word brought form into being, there was divine silence, pregnant with potential, humming with unmanifest possibility. Your upcoming transitions exist right now in that same sacred space of becoming. There's a reason why monastics of various traditions take vows of silence. They understand that silence isn't emptiness, it's fullness. It's not absence, it's presence. In silence we access deeper dimensions of being. We connect with the unmanifest source from which all creation springs. Your practice of keeping quiet about your plans aligns you with this profound spiritual principle. Consider the difference between potential and kinetic energy in physics. Potential energy is stored, contained, held in readiness. Kinetic energy is released, expressed in motion. Both forms are necessary and valuable, but they serve different purposes. Right now, your upcoming transitions need the power of potential. Energy, the contained, concentrated force that will eventually fuel their full manifestation. When you prematurely speak about plans still forming, you convert some of that potential energy to kinetic before it's time. You release pressure that was building toward breakthrough. You dissipate focus that was gathering toward manifestation. This isn't superstition. It's spiritual physics, the way energy operates in the process of bringing invisible realities into visible form. Your angels want you to harness the full power of potential energy during this formative stage. They want you to experience the breakthrough that comes when divine timing perfectly aligns with concentrated intention. They want you to know the satisfaction of seeing your vision manifest completely, not partially diluted by premature expression. Type potential if you're receiving this wisdom about the power of contained energy. Now, beloved soul, let's address something your heart might be wondering. For how long should I maintain this silence? When will I know it's time to share more openly? This is where your growing discernment comes into play. There's no one-size-fits-all timeline for sacred containment. The right timing depends on many factors specific to your unique situation. Generally speaking, major life transitions like moving and marriage benefit from privacy until the practical details have solidified. For a move, this might mean waiting until contracts are signed, dates are confirmed, and logistics are arranged. For marriage, it might mean waiting until you and your beloved have thoroughly discussed timing, ceremony preferences, and how you envision your shared life. But beyond these practical considerations, there's a spiritual discernment involved. You'll know it's time to share more widely when the inner certainty is unshakable. Regardless of others' responses, the foundation feels secure enough to withstand various reactions. Divine has clearly indicated a shift in seasons from preparation to proclamation. Your spirit feels a release from the protective covering of silence. Trust yourself to recognize these signs. The same divine wisdom that guided you to this message will guide you in discerning when the season of silence should give way to a season of sharing. This isn't about rigid rules. It's about flowing with divine timing and spiritual wisdom. Remember that even when that time comes, you still get to choose how much you share, with whom, and in what manner. Sacred discretion remains valuable even after the initial period of complete privacy has passed. You never owe the world unlimited access to your sacred journey, regardless of cultural pressures suggesting otherwise. Timing, if you're trusting. Divine guidance to show you when the season has shifted. There's something powerful I need to emphasize. This divine instruction to keep quiet about your plans isn't meant to diminish your joy or dampen your excitement. Quite the opposite. By containing this sacred energy, you actually intensify it. Like a pressure cooker that transforms raw ingredients more completely by containing heat and pressure, your contained excitement becomes more transformative. In fact, many find that private anticipation can be even more delicious than public announcement. There's a special sweetness to carrying a divine secret, to exchanging knowing glances with your beloved, while the world remains unaware of your plans, to whispering prayers of gratitude for what's unfolding without needing external validation. This private celebration creates a sacred bond between you, your beloved, and the divine. It's an intimate communion that actually strengthens the foundation of what you're building. Many couples look back on this secret season as one of the most special times in their relationship, when their connection deepened through shared sacred containment. Your angels encourage you to fully enjoy this private anticipation. Journal about your excitement. Create vision boards that only you and your beloved see. Pray together about your future home and marriage. Dance in your living room to celebrate what's coming. Take drives to your new area without telling others. Why? Shop for your new home in a neighboring town where you won't run into acquaintances. Find ways to honor and celebrate that don't require public announcement. This practice teaches us something profound about joy itself, that true happiness doesn't depend on external validation or recognition. When you can be fully joyful without needing others to witness or affirm that joy, you've discovered a spiritual freedom that many never experience. Your angels celebrate this growing spiritual maturity. Type joy. If you're embracing the special sweetness of private celebration, let's address another question that might be arising. What if people directly ask me about my plans? Do I lie to? Then, this is where nuance and wisdom come into play. Sacred containment never requires dishonesty. Instead, it invites thoughtful discernment about how much to reveal and in what manner. When directly questioned, you might respond with gentle deflection. I'm exploring some possibilities, but nothing's definite yet. Or with partial truth, we're considering some changes, but we're still in the discernment phase. Or with loving boundaries. When things are more settled, I'll be happy to share more details. These responses aren't deceptive. They're appropriately bounded. They honor both your need for sacred containment and the other person's genuine interest. They're in alignment with the spiritual wisdom of being wise as serpents and innocent as doves, navigating the world with both discernment and integrity. Remember that our cultural conditioning often makes us feel obligated to answer every question fully, to satisfy every curiosity, to justify our choices to anyone who asks. This is not a spiritual truth. It's a social construct. You have every right to protect sacred information, to set boundaries around private matters, to determine what you share and when you share it. In fact, practicing these gentle boundaries is part of your spiritual growth. It strengthens your discernment muscles. It clarifies your understanding of appropriate sharing versus oversharing. It helps you distinguish between genuine connection and mere curiosity. These are valuable life skills that will serve you long after this particular season of transition. Type boundaries. If you're embracing this wisdom about loving limits in what you share. Now, beloved soul, I want to speak to the divine purpose behind these particular transitions in your life. Your upcoming move and marriage aren't just practical changes. They're spiritual repositioning. They represent a significant upgrade in your soul's journey and mission on this planet. This is why the protective covering of silence is so important. Right now, the location you're being drawn to contains energetic frequencies, specifically aligned with your next level of spiritual growth and service. There are divine appointments awaiting you there. People whose lives will intersect with yours in meaningful ways, opportunities to share your gifts, experiences that will catalyze your evolution. This isn't random. It's divinely orchestrated. Similarly, this marriage represents a sacred alliance that transcends romantic companionship. The union you're forming has spiritual significance, not just for you and your beloved, but for the ripple effect it will create in the world around you. Together, your energies combine to create something greater than the sum of its parts, a force for love, healing, and transformation in ways you can't yet fully imagine. Because these transitions carry such spiritual significance, they naturally attract both divine support and potential interference. Just as radio signals can experience static when transmitting important messages, significant spiritual upgrades can encounter interference when being downloaded into physical reality. Your angels are guiding you to maintain silence as a way of creating clear reception for these divine downloads. Think of it like this. When a butterfly is forming in the chrysalis, it's in an extremely vulnerable state. If the chrysalis is opened prematurely, the transformation is interrupted. The butterfly needs that protective covering to complete its metamorphosis. Your upcoming transitions are in a similar state of sacred becoming. They need the protective covering of silence to fully form before being exposed to the world. Type transform. If you're embracing this understanding of the spiritual significance of your transitions, let's explore some of the specific challenges you might face in maintaining this sacred silence and how to navigate them with grace and wisdom. First, there's the challenge of excitement. When we're genuinely thrilled about something, containing that joy feels almost physically difficult. The energy wants to burst forth, to be expressed, to be shared. This is natural and beautiful. Channel this excitement into prayer, into private celebration with your sacred circle, into journal entries that capture your anticipation without broadcasting it prematurely. Second, there's the challenge of habitual sharing. Our culture, and perhaps your personal patterns, have trained you to share significant developments instantly and widely. Breaking this habit requires conscious awareness. Before each sharing impulse, pause and ask, does this need to be expressed externally right now? Is this the right time? Is this the right audience? This simple practice of pausing creates space for discernment. Third, there's the challenge of others' expectations. Friends, family, and acquaintances may be accustomed to knowing your plans. They might express surprise or even hurt when they sense you're withholding information. Remember that you're not responsible for managing others' expectations or emotions around your boundaries. Your primary responsibility is to honor divine guidance and protect what's precious. Fourth, there's the challenge of doubt. Without constant external validation, you might sometimes question your path. Am I making the right decision? Is this really divinely guided? This is where your spiritual practices become essential. Prayer, meditation, scripture, time in nature, whatever connects you most directly to Source. Let divine confirmation replace human validation. Fifth, there's the challenge of timing. Maintaining silence isn't a one-time decision. It's an ongoing practice over a period of time. There may be moments when the discipline feels more difficult, when the pressure to share increases, when doubts arise about the necessity of this approach. In these moments, return to the wisdom that prompted this practice initially. Reconnect with why sacred containment matters for these particular transitions. Type navigate if you're prepared to face these challenges with spiritual wisdom. As you practice this sacred containment, you'll begin to notice subtle but significant benefits unfolding in your inner life. Pay attention to these beautiful developments. You'll likely experience a deepening of intuition. Without the chorus of external opinions, your own inner knowing becomes clearer, stronger, more reliable. You will find yourself more confidently discerning. Next steps: recognizing divine signs, trusting your spiritual perception. This is a precious gift that will serve you long after these particular transitions are complete. You'll probably notice a strengthening of your spiritual center. When we're constantly seeking external validation, our spiritual equilibrium depends on others' responses. As you practice sacred containment, you'll develop a more stable inner core that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. This spiritual stability is invaluable in navigating life's inevitable ups and downs. You may experience an intensification of your connection with the divine. Sacred secrets create an intimate bond between you and Spirit, like friends who share private knowledge. You and the divine develop a special closeness through this practice of protected communication. Many mystics throughout history have noted how holy silence cultivates divine intimacy. You'll likely discover increased manifestation power. Energy that isn't dispersed through premature sharing becomes concentrated, focused, more powerfully directed toward bringing your vision into reality. You may find that your move and marriage unfold with remarkable synchronicity and grace precisely because you've contained the energy until the right moment. You could experience a beautiful deepening with your beloved. Sharing a sacred secret creates a special bond. As you two hold this private knowledge together, protecting it from premature exposure, your connection strengthens in unique ways. Many couples report that these sacred secret seasons become treasured memories of special intimacy. Type deepen if you're noticing or anticipating these beautiful benefits of sacred containment. Now, beloved soul, let me offer some specific spiritual practices that can support you during this season of sacred silence. First, consider creating a physical representation of your vision that remains private. This might be a vision board kept in your bedroom closet, a special journal dedicated to your upcoming transitions, a box where you place meaningful symbols of your future home and marriage. This gives your manifestation energy a physical anchor without requiring public sharing. Second, develop a specific prayer or affirmation that reinforces your commitment to divine timing and sacred containment. Something like, Divine Wisdom Guides. By sharing, I trust heavenly timing for revealing my path. My joy is complete, whether witnessed or private. Repeat this whenever you feel the urge to share prematurely. Third, establish regular check-ins with your sacred circle, those few individuals with whom you're sharing this journey. These intentional conversations create appropriate outlets for your natural desire to process verbally, while maintaining the protective boundary around your plans. Fourth, institute a practice of grateful anticipation. Each day, identify one specific aspect of your upcoming move or marriage for which you're thankful. Offer this gratitude in prayer, write it in your journal, or share it only with your beloved. This cultivates the joyful energy of your manifestation without diluting it through wider sharing. Fifth, when you feel the pressure to share building up, redirect that energy into preparation. Research your new location, learn about its history and culture, explore practical aspects of your move, discuss wedding details with your beloved, prepare financially for these transitions. Constructive action channels the energy productively, while maintaining sacred silence. Type anchor. If you're implementing these spiritual practices to support your journey, let's also address how this guidance to maintain silence about your plans connects with scripture and spiritual wisdom traditions. This isn't a new or unusual teaching. It's anchored in ancient understanding about how divine manifestation works. In Ecclesiastes, we read that there is a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Spiritual wisdom recognizes different seasons, requiring different approaches. Right now, for these specific transitions, you're in a season where silence serves your highest good. Jesus frequently instructed those he healed to tell no one until the appropriate time. He understood the spiritual principle that premature sharing can sometimes interfere with the complete work of transformation. There were divine timings to be honored, sacred processes to be protected. In Proverbs, we're taught that even a fool is considered wise when he keeps silent. This isn't suggesting you're foolish for wanting to share. Rather, it's highlighting how universally valuable thoughtful restraint can be. Sacred containment is a practice of spiritual wisdom that transcends any particular situation. Isaiah tells, "Use that in quietness and trust is your strength." There's a power that comes specifically through stillness, through quiet confidence, through contained certainty. This power is available to you as you practice sacred silence around your upcoming transitions. Throughout Scripture and other wisdom traditions, we see the pattern of wilderness seasons, times of privacy and preparation before public revelation, or ministry. Moses had his desert experience. Jesus had 40 days of solitude. Buddha had his time under the Bodhi tree. Muhammad had his cave meditations. Sacred containment before revelation is a spiritual pattern as old as time. Type wisdom. If you recognize how this guidance connects to ancient spiritual understanding, as we move toward the conclusion of this divine message, I want to remind you of something crucial. This practice of sacred silence is temporary, not permanent. There will come a time when sharing becomes appropriate, when celebration can be public, when your joy can be expressed more widely. This isn't about keeping your blessings secret forever. It's about protecting them during their vulnerable formation. Stage. Think of a master chef preparing a complex dish. They don't invite diners into the kitchen during the messy, experimental stages of creation. They wait until the dish is perfectly prepared before presenting it. This isn't deception. It's honoring the process of creation. Your move and marriage are similar. They deserve to be protected during their formation before being presented to the wider world. When the time comes to share more openly, you'll know it. There will be a clear sense of release, a divine green light, and inner knowing that the foundation is secure enough to withstand external perspectives. Trust yourself to recognize this shift when it occurs. The same divine guidance that brought you to this message will show you when the season has changed, and when that time comes, share with joy. Celebrate openly. Invite others to witness the beautiful manifestation that you have nurtured in sacred silence. There's a special sweetness to revelation that follows, appropriate containment, like a present that's been beautifully wrapped before. Being opened, or a butterfly that emerges fully formed from its chrysalis. The discipline you're practicing now will make that eventual revelation all the more powerful and complete. By honoring divine timing, by protecting what's precious during its formation, you're ensuring that when you do share, what you're sharing will be fully formed, divinely aligned, and powerfully manifested. Type, season, if you understand this. Temporary nature of sacred containment. Beloved soul, as we bring this divine message to a close, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts to carry in your heart during this sacred journey. First, remember that this guidance comes from love, not fear. Your angels see the magnificent unfolding that awaits you. They know how special these particular transitions are in your soul's journey. Their guidance to maintain silence comes from their desire to see these blessings fully materialize in your life, not from any concern about negative outcomes. Second, trust that you're being divinely supported every step of the way. Even as you practice outward silence about your plans, heaven is anything but silent in its support of you. Countless unseen helpers are arranging circumstances, preparing hearts, aligning resources, and clearing paths for your upcoming transitions. You are not alone in this journey. Third, know that this discipline of sacred silence is developing spiritual muscles that will serve you long after these particular transitions are complete. You're learning discernment about appropriate sharing. You're strengthening your ability to find validation from within rather than without. You're deepening your trust in divine timing. These are precious spiritual skills that will enhance every area of your life. Fourth, remember that joy doesn't depend on announcement. True happiness isn't measured by how many people know about or validate your blessings. There's a special sweetness to private celebration, to intimate communion with the divine about what's unfolding, to sacred secrets shared only with your beloved and your closest confidants. Embrace this unique form of joy. Finally, trust yourself. The divine wisdom that guided you to this message lives within you. The discernment about when to maintain silence and when to share more openly is available to you through your connection with Source. Your own inner knowing, when you quiet external voices long enough to hear it, will guide you perfectly through this sacred season. Type, complete. If you've received this divine message in its fullness, beloved soul, you stand at the threshold of beautiful transitions. Your upcoming move and marriage represent significant spiritual upgrades in your life journey. By honoring them with sacred silence during their formation, you're ensuring their full and perfect manifestation according to divine design. This time, keep quiet, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Not permanently, but for this sacred season of becoming. Not because your joy isn't worth sharing, but because it's worth protecting until the perfect time for revelation. Heaven celebrates you. Angels surround you. Divine wisdom guides you. Sacred purpose awaits you. Walk in confidence, beloved one. The path before you is divinely ordained, perfectly timed, and beautifully designed for your highest good and the blessing of many others. Through you, until next time, may you walk in the perfect peace of divine timing and heavenly wisdom. Remember that you found this message not by chance, but by divine appointment. The same wisdom that led you here will guide you forward. Trust the journey, embrace the process, honor the sacred silence, and watch in wonder as divine manifestation unfolds in your life. Thank you for watching,